if I fail? I've made so many mistakes in the past. So many things have not gone the way I wanted them to, and that's okay. I'm learning that big goals are never too big, and baby steps are okay. What if no one likes what I do? I'm okay if one person is absolutely inspired. Your goals do not have a size requirement or an expiration date. You're still growing, still learning, and still amazing in the process. You just have to own it. A work in progress is still progress. Nothing is in vain.
Hey beautiful, it's Bree as always with the Sunday Paper Podcast, and I just first want to say thank you so much for taking the time not only to support me, but to support yourself today by taking a good 15-20 minutes to do something that's for you, to pause, to be quiet, to rest, whatever it is that you are doing during this podcast while you're listening or watching. I'm proud of you and I thank you so much for being here. I'm so proud that you are here. Happy June. I'm so excited about the rest of this year. I don't know what it is, but June starting just gave me like a boost, a fresh wind. So let's get into today's episode, which is all about embracing your eras. Embrace every era that you've been in, okay? Because every era has served its purpose. And I promise you, looking back at those eras are not as embarrassing as you think. Like, in fact, looking back will help you understand that you've come so much farther than you think you have. And you know what? You're not that bad. So let's get into this episode about embracing your eras today. So after our last episode talking about, no longer hiding, getting from underneath those tables and showing up for that person that you are trying so hard to be, who you deserve to be, who you're worthy to be, I did some deep digging, okay? I looked back at my eras. Somehow I found myself looking all the way back to my blogging journey that started in 2016. So I want to go down a bit of memory lane today. I know I have shared a lot of lows I've experienced in this space. I have shown up very vulnerable with all of my challenges, the majority of my challenges. I've shared about toxic relationships, not even the gist, not even the whole thing, but just the gist of what I've experienced in toxic relationships with men. I have shared, pregnancy loss and all these really deep things, which are, I feel I value sharing those things because I know it helps someone else feel seen. But I'm hoping to help you feel seen today in recognizing the strength and the fact that you've come so much farther than you think. You are so much better than you think you are, and you are who you think you are. So I want to share with you all, how do we get here? It's 2024. I'm speaking to you on the Sunday Paper Podcast. I'm sitting in an apartment that I have always wanted. I have so much already. And yes, there's more that I want, but I want to talk about how I got to where I am today. You know how kind of like on those movies on BT, it's like, you're probably wondering how I got here. That's basically how I'm feeling today. Like, you're probably wondering what I'm talking about and how I got here. So let's take it all the way back. I'm going to start with my blogging journey and start from there. And hopefully as I'm doing this, you don't have to think of that specific year or the times I'm talking about, but just think of really good times for yourself. What were you doing when you felt the happiest? Where were you? Who were you with? How were you dressing? How were you showing up when you felt good about your life? So I'm super, super excited. I'm so excited to share just such positivity with you guys today. And like I said, it's something about June that just has me in a mode of like, just wow. I'm just grateful to be here. So I had to reflect. I'm the queen of reflecting. So after recording the last episode talking about hiding, I was sharing a lot. I shared that episode. I even went ahead and shared like in some of the groups I'm in on Facebook in my like local community here in Grand Rapids. I shared my podcast. I put it out there. I let people know, if you're looking for a new podcast by a young Black lady, here's one to listen to. So we've got new listeners. I have some new people that have joined my community on YouTube. I've had new people join the community on the podcast and on Sundaye & Co. and on my personal Instagram. So I'm excited and grateful. And I also was thinking after making that episode, like, okay, what all am I no longer hiding from? What am I no longer playing hide and seek with? What are my purposes that I'm no longer hiding under this table and shrinking myself? I'm showing up for those things now. So those things for me that I was able to identify is styling, sharing more written form content, because that's what blogging was, and just really putting myself out there to create community. I absolutely thrive in doing those things because I value them. They mean a lot to me to do, and showing up stylish and chic has always been what has brought me back. As I said, I've shared a lot of really challenging, difficult, hurtful things I've been through in this space. I've shared it with you all in this space, and you know what has saved me so much over these last several months, over these last several years that have been challenging for me, despite how I look. Looking nice has helped me. When you look good, you really do feel good. That is a motto that I live and stand by. Okay. So I started doing some reflecting, like, how did I start sharing online these vulnerable things? How did I start sharing online outfit of the days and stories and lifestyle content and trips and travel and family and desires and goals and my faith? Like, how did I get into that? So I had to reflect on starting a blog in 2016, which was called justbreyourself.com, which you can see that's still what I go by. I still go by Just Bree Yourself when it comes to my online handle and my online community. So I started with that. I started with my Instagram that I made in high school. I graduated high school in 2013. So I started with that same Instagram, had a couple hundred people on it, and I actually got started posting there by sharing my natural hair as well. So when I first got out of high school, I still was getting a lot of like weaves and sew-ins, which there's nothing wrong with that, but my relationship with my hair was not good. My relationship with my hair was, if it is not long and a certain texture, then it's not beautiful. I'm not beautiful. And I kind of credit that to, yes, society, but also being that age and going to a school where you don't really have anyone that looks like you. Yes, I'm 110% grateful for my education, but representation matters. So my representation, being a cheerleader all these years and doing these things with women who don't look like me, their skin isn't like mine, their hair isn't like mine, it's not the same life, So my hair was the thing that I was most insecure about, going to a school where there's predominantly people who don't look like myself. So when I got out of high school, I decided I'm going to stop wearing weaves. I wore them for probably a couple years out of high school, and then at some point I was just like, I want to embrace my hair. So I got it cut in pretty much like a bob, kind of almost similar to what I have now, but it was much shorter. And I just started wearing it. I started doing Bantu knots, flexi rods, and I would share it. And at the time, hashtags were huge. So I would share these hashtags, regarding natural hair, and a lot of the big natural hair pages were reposting it. So shortly after that, I just started sharing more and more. I started sharing tutorials on how I was doing my hair and all these different things. But I got into blogging when I was still in school. So I guess, we gotta go way back, y'all. Because like I said, I graduated high school in 2013. And when I graduated high school, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I never was someone who had this huge plan for my life. And it's because I feel I was so taken aback with like what society tells you to do. Like when you're a child, everyone's asking you, what do you want to be when you grow up? And over time, people are asking you, what college do you want to go to? I never had an answer for that. But when I was younger, my answer to what I wanted to be was a fashion designer, which is basically style, right? At some point I wanted to be a dentist. At some point I wanted to be a doctor. At some point I wanted to be a storm chaser, a meteorologist, all these great, incredible things that are not too far from me. I am worthy of trying those things. But along my career, like just as a young girl in school, my academic career was very discouraging for me. I was told a lot of things as a kid. A lot of the feedback I got was very discouraging, and I kind of just gave up in my mind that I'm a smart person. I kind of just started telling myself, Brie, you're not that bright, so I don't know what you're gonna do, sis. I don't know. So my mom, being the incredible mother she is, she always promised us, education after high school, and that was kind of her standard in her household. Like, hey, you can stay here as long as you need, but you do need to be going to school and furthering yourself, bettering yourself, basically. So I chose, what I thought was going to be, pretty fast, something that I don't have to be in school a long time, but I can put myself in a better position as a young adult and have some stability. So I decided to do a medical assisting program. So it's 2 years. My first year of college was at the local community college here in Grand Rapids. And then I would move on from there. So I did 2 years to finish my schooling, and then after that, while I was doing that schooling, I had an opportunity to go out the country. So now we are in like 2015, and I was, of course, a little bit nervous. A lot of messaging that I received as a little girl was that I was shy as well. And growing up, I don't think I'm shy. I think I know myself so well that I'm particular about what I say and what I do around people. It takes me a little bit to warm up, but I don't think I'm shy. I think shy is almost like a negative thing. So now I do not call myself shy at all. I am totally not that girl anymore. But I was given an opportunity to go to Europe with a group of strangers. This was before I would go on to the school where my medical assisting program would be at. So I went to Europe the summer of 2015. We went to Barcelona and Paris, and it was life-changing. As soon as I landed in Paris, I can't even describe to you the outer body experience I had. And when I say outer body, it was amazing. It's actually really funny. When I first got there, I was actually very under the influence by accident. I took not a Benadryl, a Dramamine, a couple of those. I chewed them. I guess apparently you're not supposed to. Whatever way, I do have a low tolerance for things like that. My body just doesn't react well. But I knew that usually towards the end of a plane ride, I get a little nauseous. The flight to Europe was about over 10 hours, a little over 10 hours. So I took that in hopes of not getting nauseous, which I didn't get nauseous, but I was very, very drowsy. Like I was nodding. So I was almost like I didn't feel like a real person when I got there. It was like a dissociation thing. But again, not because I was like nervous or anxious. Like I just was like this, I can't believe I'm here. This is crazy. So it was just such an incredible experience. And it encouraged me to start writing. So I came back very inspired. I'm like, okay, I'm going to stick out my 2 years in school, but I'm going to do more than this. And so as I finished up my medical assistant program, which was 2 years and an associate's degree, as I finished that up, I was writing to myself in journals. I was writing to myself in the notes app on my phone, and just coming up with these stories, coming up with these passages of just encouraging people, encouraging myself, praying to God, all these things, writing out goals. Before I knew it, I thought of Just Free Yourself. So I was writing to myself, and then before I knew it, I actually started a whole website. I started working. My first blog, justfreeyourself.com, was through weebly.com, and I wish I still had it, because by 2017 I switched over to Squarespace. So I actually still have all of this stuff starting from 2017, but I'm going to try to find the Weebly website from 2016, because my first blog post was called Keep Going. Like, is that not exactly what I did? So I just literally have been just reflecting and pondering on the fact that I'm still here, and the fact that you and I are still here, that means something. I don't know who needs to hear that, but the fact that you still have breath, the fact that you're still here after what you experienced, after that heartbreak, after that disappointment, after that friend did you the way they did, after your parents did this, after you went through that trauma and hurt, the fact that you're still here means it's time to keep going. It's time to get up. So that's what I've just been so encouraged to go back to those things. I love encouraging people. I love sharing. I love putting together an outfit and sharing the details about that. It's simple, but it brings me joy, and it's not about the likes and the comments and I just want to blow up, so I have been reflecting on my eras. So the first era that I really had was that blogging era, that natural hair blogger era. She was that girl, okay? I'm sorry, but she was very cool. And I think sometimes we discredit our different eras because, again, they maybe didn't get that attention or appreciation that we thought that they should get, but they did what they were supposed to do. Like every era that you have serves you, okay? Every single one. So y'all, you know what? I'm just like giddy with excitement for myself, but also for you, because you are still here. You're still here, and I just want to remind you, like, you've made it, you've arrived, you're exactly where you're supposed to be today. So I want to keep talking more all about these different eras and how we can reflect on these different eras and embrace these eras, take them with us for the eras we're stepping into now. Okay, so let's continue talking about these eras, okay? So like I said, I started basically, the first era I had was probably about 2015-ish. I honestly was in school and I felt kind of depressed because I really didn't know, I knew that there was more that I wanted to do. My first year of college at community college was really great. It boosted my confidence academically. I finally felt like that smart adult, like, wow, I actually am able to retain information. I'm not that girl who doesn't comprehend well. That's what a teacher told me. I'm not too, emotionally unstable. That's what someone said when I was younger. I was almost not even able to go to the first grade because of these things. So now looking back, I felt really led to do more once I advanced past learning in that community college era, so I started there, enjoyed it, loved it. And then once I got accepted into the next school to do my actual medical assisting program, I enjoyed it. I went on that trip with my peers before starting that semester that fall, and it changed my life. It absolutely changed my life. And it was almost like coming back and just going to school was like that's what made me feel depressed. It's not that I wasn't grateful for my education or looking forward to finishing and getting into the real world as an adult and having a big girl job, but I was like, man, like there's a whole world out there. Like, and there, I know that there's a whole world for myself out there. Like my world is supposed to be evolving more. There's sometimes almost grief in knowing that something isn't for you, or sometimes there's grief in knowing that there's more that you want to do because you feel bad for not embracing where you currently are. So that's why I want to talk about these eras today, because I don't want to be leaving previous versions of ourselves behind, because they all serve us a great purpose, and they all help us understand ourselves when we look back. It teaches us, it grows us, it evolves us, it matures us, and I'm grateful for every version of me that I've been. So we started 2015, by the fall of 2016, I started my blog, justbeyourself.com. My first blog post was entitled Keep Going, and I talked all about my faith, my school, going to Europe, and all these things that I'm talking about with you today, which is crazy to think about. And then by 2017, I was starting to collab with brands. So again, those natural hair brands, I was being sent things to try. I worked with the watch company several times throughout the last few years. I was collabing with local creatives here in Grand Rapids and just doing these things that I'm like, this type of life makes so much sense. Like, oh my goodness, I love this. But the unfortunate part was that these things were not making me any money. So I was still working full-time as a medical assistant. But we assume that influencers make all this money and you must have this, you must have that, right? But the reality is you don't always make money. A lot of things that you start out with as an influencer or as this creative, it's really you just putting your skin in the game. So I've done that now, and looking at where I am now and looking back way back to 2015, 16, 17, so much has happened. I've learned so much and I've come so far. So then we get to 2017, I basically revamped my blog, and that's how I said I switched over to Squarespace. And then in 2017, I decided to launch a t-shirt line called the only t-shirt that I ended up selling. Those t-shirts and sweatshirts, and it was through, I cannot remember what that was powered through, but it was basically something where I did not have to really do anything on the back end. You just sign up, you type in what you want your shirts to say, basically have a sample sent to you so that you can know what to expect, and then you launch, right? So the shirts and t-shirts said, still growing, still learning, still amazing. So again, something about the themes of all my eras have been, keep going, girl. Like, whatever you do, do not give up on yourself. Whatever you do, do not quit. Whatever you do not let your past stump you. Whatever you do not let anything throw you off of your life square, okay? So I did that. That was really cool. It did take money to do. I invested into that. I invested with having a promo vid. I invested with paying for the shirts, and basically earned back everything I invested into it. So that was a really cool start, a really cool sample of what potential entrepreneurship could look like, because over time I'm like, I really feel like entrepreneurship is literally just in me. It's in my spirit, it's in my soul to do. Okay, it's my purpose, and it's hard to do. So again, reflecting on these things makes me happy, because it's like, I'm so happy I tried, so that was 2017. 2018, I was really feeling the courage to get into styling, so I started offering services for that, sharing more outfit details, having more pictures taken of me in looks that I put together, and a lot of times I was just having my brother head downtown with me with my camera or with our phones and do it that way. But then sometimes too, I would hire, there were 2 local photographers that I liked working with here. So then by 2019, there's a lot that went on. I was fresh out of a relationship that I thought was going to be like the one, and I really didn't think that. He just checked off boxes that I hadn't been able to check off before. So I was just like, no, I can't believe that this fairy tale is leaving. Like, even though I don't really want it, like, how dare it would leave, So 2019 was the start of a lot of roughness for me. I got into the relationship with the last person I was with, that I experienced a pregnancy loss with, and all these things. So I won't get into that today, because again, I want to focus on the positivity, the good things about my different eras. Okay, we'll go to that delusional girl later. Okay, but even with dating that person and everything I've been through the last few years, my era has been just to keep going. Like, that's just been in my mind. I'm going to use what I've been through to advance me to where I want to be. I'm going to use that. Something I've learned is that God does not waste anything. God will not waste that thing that you thought didn't even work out, that thing that you felt like didn't make sense, that thing you felt like was a waste of time, that thing you felt like was, why did that even happen? That was unnecessary. It won't be wasted. It will not be wasted. So take it with you. The tail end of 2020, I started my photography business. And then by 2020, I'm working with people's personal brands. 2021, I'm evolving, still working with brands, but I'm working with events now too. 2022, a lot of organization events. And then 2023, a lot of branding events. And now still a lot of branding and events. So all of my eras have served a purpose. And they have helped me. They have taught me so much about myself. They have evolved my relationship with myself, my relationship with others, my relationship with God. And it's an honor. It's an honor to have those previous eras. It's an honor to have been those different versions of me. And I hope you know, it's an honor to be who you are as well. Do not let the hype of social media, or the hype of entrepreneurship, or the hype of the whatever peak you see people have, don't let that discourage you and distract you from the fact that you've got something really great going on too. You're actually really cool too. You're actually really beautiful too. You're actually really smart too. You dress well too. You've got something to offer as well, So look back at those eras. What eras have you had that you're like, at the time, it's like, this was kind of crazy, or that didn't really do anything. I bet if you look back at it today, you're like, wow, this is amazing to look back on. So embrace your eras, take them with you. I talked about that with my therapist a few months ago, of like different versions of me, and how I wish I could go back and hug some of those different versions of me, because they were going through it. Okay, she needed a hug, a long one, a really ugly cry, and chocolate chip cookies, but no one could give it to her, So, but she was saying, my therapist shared with me, you do not have to leave those different versions of you behind. Like, they are supposed to come with you. Keep them in your back pocket. Keep them in your rearview mirror. Do not forget about them. Don't forget about them, because if they could say anything to you now, they'd probably tell you, I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy you kept going. I'm so happy you didn't quit. I'm so happy you're stepping back to that. I'm so happy you're getting back into school. I'm so happy you're getting back into sharing. I'm so happy you're getting back into building community and believing in yourself. So don't forget about who you were and what that has done to bring you where you are now and who you're about to step into. I'm excited. I'm excited for us. I don't know. I just really am. And I'm grateful for this space as always. And before we go, I just want to leave you with the definition of what an era is so that you can make it your own. I know that we use the term era a lot on social media now, but I want you to really customize that for yourself. So I'm going to pick up my phone really quick here. I looked up the definition on Google of what an era is, and an era, it gives us two definitions. It says it's a long and distinct period of history with a particular feature or characteristic, or a system of chronology dating from a particular noteworthy event. So both of those things to me say a lot. I feel like your different eras, basically, as I've said, all serve a purpose. Like, it's distinct. It is literally you. Like, it is so unique, and that's why it's important to embrace our journey, because your journey and my journey are totally different. We both have such a unique journey we're walking on, and it deserves to be embraced the entire time. Please don't be discouraged. Please don't give up because your life doesn't look like what the next person's life looks like, or you're not exactly where you want to be. It is a journey. You are not supposed to get to one final destination in life and stay there. It just doesn't work like that. It's a journey. It's meant to keep going and evolving, as are you, and you're doing it. So I'm so excited for you and I'm so happy that you took the time to listen or watch today. Thank you as always. I am working on a website for Sundaye & Co. I am working on a simple community meetup soon for the summer for us girlies that are local in the Grand Rapids area. So thank you so much. As always, you can check us out on Instagram at Sundaye & Co. or you can still check out my personal Instagram, which is still just for yourself. So thank you so much. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Thank you for supporting me and for taking this time for yourself.